we're going to work on something that you've also been working on in your classroom. So our content objective today will be, I can identify the setting in a story, and then the language objective, I can read to identify the setting in a story using a skill chart and working with a partner. So what language skill will we be working on today?
Reading.
Reading, yes. So what is setting? The setting is where and when the story takes place. What is setting?
When the story takes place.
So let's say it in a complete sentence, and you can do the motions too, that's okay. Ready? The setting is where and when the story takes place. All right, so now how do we find the setting? How do we figure out the setting? First, look for clues about where the story takes place. Second, look for clues about when the story takes place. Third, use the sentence stem. The setting is where during the when. So, how do we figure out the setting? First, look for clues about where the story takes place. Second, look for clues about when the story takes place. Third, use the sentence stem. The setting is where during the... Do good readers identify the setting? Well, good readers figure out the setting to help them understand where and when their characters lived. So why do good readers identify the setting? Good readers figure out the setting to help them understand where and when their characters lived. All right, so today, right now we're going to play a guessing game. Do you like guessing games? Awesome. So I'm going to give you some clues about a place where I'm located, and you are going to guess where I am. So, it is dark. I feel something soft under my head. I hear my alarm clock ringing. Where am I? Zayden, where do you think I am?
In bed.
You think I'm in my bed?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what clue words helped you figure out that I was in my bed?
I feel something soft under my head.
Yes, something soft under my head. Anything else?
I hear my alarm clock ring.
The alarm clock is ringing. Usually the alarm clock rings it when you're in your bed. Do you have an alarm clock? Yeah? All right, so now, when am I in my bed?
In the morning.
You think I'm in my bed in the morning? What clue words tell you I'm in my bed in the morning?
It is dark and I hear my alarm clock ringing.
Okay, so again, alarm clock is ringing and it is dark. So it could be dark when you wake up in the morning. It's usually dark when I wake up in the morning when I'm getting ready for school. Is it dark when you wake up in the morning? Sometimes, yeah, because we have to get to school pretty early, don't we? So scholars, Emmett and Zayden, you just did what good readers do. You listen to clues about where and when the story takes place to figure out the setting. You use those clue words to figure out what the setting is. We also do this when we read. Sometimes the author gives us the setting, tells us where and when the story takes place, but sometimes we need to use clue words, just like you did right here, to figure out what the setting is. So we are going to do that today in our reading. So remember, we're working on reading today. So today we're going to read a story called Flip It. So I'm going to give you the story here. And I want you to look at the picture on the first page. Does anybody know what that's a picture of? Zayden?
Pancakes.
It's a picture of pancakes, yes. And so, what do you think this story might be about?
Pancakes.
Yeah, maybe it's about pancakes.
And flipping.
Look at the title, so flipping it, maybe it's about flipping pancakes, it could be. So we'll have to read and find out, right? Before we read, we're going to talk about some vocabulary like we usually do so that we make sure that we understand the story. So our first word is yanking. So yanking means to pull or move suddenly or strongly. So I could say, I was yanking the seatbelt in my car to get it unstuck and then it broke. So yanking is like this. So show me yanking. Exactly, yeah, I love how you did it so quickly. All right, so the second one is turn to stone. So turn to stone means frozen in place because somebody is afraid of something. So I might say, I turned to stone when I heard a noise in my basement because I thought somebody was downstairs. So turn to stone looks like this. I like how you're showing me turn to stone. Awesome. All right, the next word is spatula. A spatula is a kitchen tool that's used to flip pancakes or other foods. I have a spatula right here. So this is a spatula. So I might use it to flip pancakes. Have you ever seen one of those? Yeah? Emmett, you've seen one too? Awesome. Yeah. All right, so then the next word is skillet. So a skillet is a flat pan that's used to cook pancakes and other foods. So again, I have an example of a skillet right here. So this is a skillet. You could put the pancake batter on here and then use the spatula to flip it. Have you ever seen a skillet? Good. All right, so now I think we're ready. So as we read flip it, we are going to identify the setting by paying attention to the clues that we find in the text. So, what skill are we working on? Zayden.
Identifying the setting.
Yes, we are working on identifying the setting, right? So, can you say it in a complete sentence?
We are working on identifying the setting.
Excellent. And what is setting?
Where and when the story takes place.
The setting is?
Where.
The setting is where and when the story takes place. How do we find the setting? First, look for clues about where the story takes place. Second, look for clues about when the story takes place. Third, use the sentence stem. The setting is where during the when. And why do good readers identify the setting? Good readers figure out the setting to help them understand where and when the story takes place. Awesome. So we're going to start out by me reading, and I want you to follow along during this first part, and then you'll get a chance to read later. I'll stop right there. So, I'm figuring out this setting by paying attention to the clues in the story. In the text, I read that the child wiggled under the sheets, and I also see that it says under the covers. So that tells me that the text, so the type of evidence right here, it's not a picture, but it's the text. So the text tells me it said wiggled under the sheets, and it also said under the covers. So what does that tell me about the setting? Zayden?
They're probably in bed.
Yeah, that's what it tells me, that the characters are in bed. All right, so that tells us where they are. Now let's see if we can figure out when they are. So again, let's look at the text, because this story probably isn't going to have too many clues in the pictures because we only have one picture up at the top, right? So let's see. Ooh, I see that Dad opened one eye and looked at me, and I also see that Dad asked what I wanted for breakfast. So that tells me that I think that it's in the morning when they just woke up. Thumbs up if you agree. Thumbs down if you disagree. Ooh, both agree. Yeah, so it's morning time. All right, so let's continue reading and see if we can identify if the setting changes. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to read together. Okay, so this is called choral reading. So we'll all read together. So we're going to start at I want pancakes. Do you see that right at the bottom? Mm-hmm. Okay, ready? All right, let's stop right there. I notice that the setting has changed. So why don't you turn to your shoulder partner and see if you can figure out any evidence that shows you what the setting is. Together. What do you think? So first of all, was the evidence in the text or the pictures?
Text.
It is in the text. Excellent. And what evidence did you find in the text?
That they went downstairs.
Ooh, they went down the stairs. Excellent. We walked downstairs together. It also says in the kitchen. So what does that tell you? Where are they now?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. They moved from the bedroom to the kitchen. Yes. Excellent. And so that tells us where they are. Now, let's see if we can figure out when they went down to the kitchen. So let's again look in the text to see if we can figure out if any clue words tell us when they went down to the kitchen. Ready? Okay, so what clue words help us to figure out when they went down there?
At the start it says, pajamas.
Ooh, so they're still in their pajamas. So do you think that there was a lot of time between when they were in their bed and when they went down to the kitchen?
No.
Probably not, because it says they were in their pajamas. It also says Dad got out all the ingredients to make pancakes for breakfast. And what do we know about breakfast? When do we eat breakfast?
In the morning.
Yeah, so there probably wasn't a lot of time that happened between when they woke up and when they ate breakfast, right? And I remember in the last part that we read, it said, since you're up so early, we may as well eat. So then that tells us that it was right after that, right? Mm-hmm. So that tells us, like we said, it's still morning time. Okay, so now you are going to get the chance to fill out this bottom row on your own. You're going to read together the rest of the story with your partner. Tell me what you're going to do with your partner is read the rest of the story. So you'll start at never mind, kiddo, no big deal. So you and your partner will read, and then you're looking for evidence that the setting changes. Okay? So we probably know that can we fill out the first box? Do we know if it's going to be in a picture or the text? Yeah, I think we know it's going to be in the text, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then with your partner, read the rest and see if you can figure out what evidence you have that the setting changed and then what that tells you, and you can go ahead and write it on your paper. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead. Wow, scholars, you did such an awesome job today identifying the setting. Let's just review one more time what the setting is and how we find it before we go back to class, okay? All right, so what is the setting? Let's do it together. The setting, let's do it with actions. Ready? The setting is where and when the story takes place. How do we find the setting? 1, look for clues that tell us where the story takes place. 2, look for clues that tell us when the story takes place. 3, use the sentence stem. The setting is where during the when. And why do good readers identify the setting?
Good readers figure out the setting to help them understand where and when their characters lived.
Excellent. Wow, what an awesome job today.